being here. Just waiting for a few more folks to fill in. Thank you.
But now it's hard to breathe. I'm not in love, it's just a game we do. I tell myself I'm not that into you, but I don't wanna sleep. It's 3:15, and now it's hard to breathe. I'm not in love, it's just a thing we make. We're skin on skin, I need the spell to break, but I don't wanna go, and I know that you know. You're in my head like dum dum da 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 da, dum dum 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 da da da. And now it's hard to breathe. We made breathe into you, breathing we made breathe. And now it's hard to breathe. We made breathe into you, breathing we made. I know it's hard to breathe. I'm not in love, it's just a game we do. I tell myself I'm not that into you, but I don't wanna sleep. It's 3:15, and now it's hard to breathe. I'm not in love, it's just a thing we make. Oh, skin on skin, I need the spell to break, but I don't wanna go, and I know that you know. You're in my head like dum dum da 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 da, dum dum da da da, dum dum da 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 da, dum dum da da da, dum dum da 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 da, dum dum da da da, dum dum da 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 da, dum dum da da da.
Your feet on the dashboard, parked outside your parents' house. Don't open the door yet. There's more than one way to get out. Yeah, we can go somewhere where no one knows us. Overdose on open roads and cheap hotels will dance on tables in every town from here to Vegas.
'Cause this is what I'm thinking, can you hear me now? If we were the stars in a movie somehow, this would be the sad part where it all goes wrong. It'll be alright if we just try. If we just
We got all that we need, yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Money, cigarettes, and
You're
just
already
enough
seated.
love
Don't worry about the
to
t-shirt
get
line.
through
There's
the
plenty for everyone. We actually wanted to distribute afterwards. So don't get up out of your
We'll
seats and join that
sleep
line.
on Monday,
Promise
sun
to get a
comes
shirt.
up.
So
Yeah, we can go
just
somewhere
hang on to your
where
seat.
no
Thank
one
you.
knows us. Overdose on open roads and cheap hotels will dance on tables in every town from here to Vegas.
'Cause this is what I'm thinking, can you hear me now? If we were the stars in a movie somehow, this would be the
All right, all right, all right. What a great turnout. All right, let's the live stream can see you. Everybody wave to the live stream. Ow! Woo! Big turnout in Sunnyvale today. Thank you all for coming. The front seat tour has hit Sunnyvale. How many of you, is this your first time at the front seat tour? All right, excellent. Great turnout. Let me just show online who I am. Hi, Josh the carpool guy. Hi, live stream. Everybody, I'm Josh. again. Thank you for coming out. We are so excited to have you. This is our 4th or 5th or 6th event. I can't even keep track. I was just in Seattle on Monday launching Waze Carpool to the entire state of Washington. Woohoo! Carpool expansion. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We have a great program for you today. We have just a few remarks up top. We're going to show you a sneak preview of what's coming in the app. A lot of it based on your feedback, a lot of it things that you didn't even know you wanted that you're going to be very excited to see. We have some product managers here and designers and folks who are visiting from Waze's headquarters in Tel Aviv. So that is really exciting. You'll get to give them feedback face to face, which they love, and they'll bring it back for all the engineers to incorporate. So thank you for coming out. Everybody gets a t-shirt, everybody gets stickers, there'll be some prizes. You guys who have been here before, you know how this works. So we're gonna start with a little quiz. Don't worry, pop quiz. Put your hand in the air if you have carpooled with us at least once, driver or rider. Nice, excellent. Wait, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. 5 times or more, 5 times or more. Driver or rider, doesn't matter. Carpools, completed carpools. 10 times or more, keep them up. Oh, very engaged group. All right, 20 times or more. Oh, it's okay. Still see, I don't know, 30 hands in the air maybe. Let's go to 30 times or more. And we can verify this. We can look at your app and verify, no lie. Yeah, I know, no cheating, no cheating. 40 times or more, confirmed carpools. Ooh, these hands are sticking up. Okay, 50 times or more? All right, 75 times or more? Oh yeah, I took some people out. So I see 2 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Near, you don't count, okay? Product managers don't count. Yes. Yes. We're gonna get to those questions, sir. The Q&A is after my remarks. I'm not gonna see it? We'll verify. We'll look up your username. We'll make sure. We'll make sure. Okay, so I was at 75. Let's go to 90. 90 or more? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 100 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it looks like we're going with 100 for this event, which is awesome. 6 people with 100 or more are getting the Carpool Hero sweatshirts. Ow! Yes. I am modeling it for you tonight. Actually, a few of us are modeling it. The product managers, they come, they want all the US swag, so they got them too. Okay, so we'll make sure you guys get these after the event, so stick around. All right, back to me. Hello live stream. Back to the slide. All right, here we go. So this is how this is gonna work. Just a brief intro on Carpool and the mission that we are all on together, because it truly is a 100-year-old mission. I'm gonna take you through the history of Carpool in 3 minutes. Then you're gonna hear from our PMs about some great things coming down the pike. And then the majority of this time is for you and your feedback. We saw all the questions that you posted in your RSVP form. We know there's a lot of, shall I say, lively commenters in the audience. And we wanna hear from you all. That's why you're here. So hopefully we've loosened you up a little bit with the drinks and the food, and you will be honest and brutal and blunt and complimentary. I'll take all the compliments, the PMs will take all the complaints, okay? Perfect, that's how it's gonna work. All right, you know Waze, you love Waze. Our mission will always be outsmarting traffic together. This is the Waze win, as we call it. That person on the overpass is winning, everyone else is losing. Traffic, the ultimate evil. No one loves traffic. We're all fighting it together. That's what Waze is about. That's what we will always be about. But because we are audacious, because we are part of Google now, because we needed a bigger monster to tackle, it is congestion everywhere and ending traffic altogether. That is our new mission at Waze, and Carpool is our big step in that direction. So hopefully someday, with all of your help and all of your hard work, free-flowing freeways. I'm from Los Angeles. I know. And this is a highway in LA that never looks like this. This must be from at least 30 years ago. Or maybe during Carmageddon when no one got in their cars to get on the road. But this is what we want to see, free-flowing traffic everywhere. But first, a mission that we are all in together. Carpooling, believe it or not, is 100 years old. You guys, we are trying to solve together a 100-year-old problem. Jitneys took the world by storm, or took the US by storm in the teens, 1914 to 1918. It was 5 cents to jump on one of these things, which is about $1.25 in today's dollars. And this was basically people just trying to make a little money on their commutes, just like what people are doing today. There were persistent fears in these days. Women riding alone, insurance, liability, all those things that we're still worried about and trying to solve for today were a problem 100 years ago. So just want you to know this is an old problem we are working on together. The next big push for carpooling was in the 40s. In the 40s, during World War II, the US and the propaganda machine needed all of us to save on oil and gas and rubber. And so they basically created this whole series of posters, including "When you ride alone, you ride with Hitler." That is a real poster. You can Google it. And they took these posters and they put them all over the country to basically get people into these car sharing clubs. They spent the equivalent of about $100 million doing this, and there's literally no evidence that it worked at all. So you won't be seeing us putting those kinds of posters around town, only in the room. So we took one of those old posters and we hacked it for Waze Carpool, and we will have it at our events, but we're not going to be plastering it all over town on billboards. The next carpool craze was in the 70s when oil and gas were very scarce. And you might remember, if you remember the 70s, people lining up at gas stations to fill up their tanks and taking hours on end, literally hours to get gas. And this was when carpool sort of started to take off. There were efforts by Jimmy Carter to make government employees, to force them to carpool. That failed miserably. There were these wonderful public service announcements like the Noah's Ark PSA. I encourage you to check this out on YouTube. It's basically an interview, an animated interview with Noah, the first carpooler. Swear to God. And they didn't think carpooling was a cool enough word, so they invented a word, kalaka. So who's heard of the word kalaka? Yeah, so that worked. Kalaka is the ancient Babylonian word for carpool, according to Noah. I'm not making this up. Check this out in the Noah's Ark PSA. So efforts like that were prevalent in the 70s. There was another one that was called Double Up America. It was like the Doublemint twins commercials, and they had photos of people that looked alike carpooling together. Has anybody been in a carpool with someone that was their doppelganger yet, that looked just like them? There's a prize in it for it. No, I'm just kidding. So that was the efforts in the 70s. So this led to sort of the peak carpool period, which was the late 70s, early 80s, where we had 18, 19, 20% of people carpooling in the US, which I think is a number that we aspire to today. Because ever since then, there's been a real sort of slow decline in carpooling. And it's sad. I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into this. Car ownership in the US is extremely, it's very high and it's very cheap to own a car. Gas is as cheap as it is anywhere in the world. There's electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, all of the efforts to increase fuel capacity and mileage and things like that have led to an addiction to driving. I mean, we are addicted to driving alone. Not we, I mean the collective US. Like, you guys are carpoolers, so you're in the special category. But you'd see headlines like this. This looks like a headline from today, but it's actually a headline from 1980. So even when we were at peak carpool, people were thinking, like, how can America learn to love the carpool? Like, is this really something that is possible, something that we can learn to do? And it's a hard question. I think that we're still grappling with it today, but you guys are on this mission with us. So you'd think that after all this, there wouldn't be anybody trying to do carpooling anywhere in the world, but we looked around the world, and these are all the carpool-ish startups that have tried to tackle this problem, and they're everywhere. And I think there's a reason for this. There's a few reasons for this. One is we all have these smartphones in our pockets, right? Location-based services are so prevalent, and it's so easy to immediately tell a service where you are and where you need to go, and to navigate between the two. And then the upstarts, right? So the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world and the Airbnbs, they've made it comfortable for people to utilize the resources that are underutilized, whether it's the rooms in your house or the space in your vehicle or the idle vehicle sitting in your driveway. These things have really led to an explosion in this attempt to try to solve for carpooling. And finally, I think we're not Uber and Lyft. That's not what we do, but we have to give them credit for helping people overcome the stranger danger, right? Like, you are now comfortable getting into a car that is a private citizen's vehicle that doesn't have the words taxi splashed all over it. And that's actually helpful for carpool, because that's a key tenet for carpooling. Also, carpool is fun again, right? So it's back in the culture. You guys watch James Corden karaoke? I mean, so I have every Google alert set up for carpool known to man, and they're just filled with carpool karaoke's. Like, every time he releases one, all I see is this. But they're super fun to watch, and I think this has really kind of started to bring the sexy back to carpool. So I'm hoping that James continues to do his thing, and maybe someday we can do an integration with James. I'll talk to our comms team about that. Okay, you're like, we get it, we're here, we're carpoolers, so what are you all about? So there was a few hands that didn't go up when I said who's carpooled with us. So let me see those brave hands. Who hasn't tried us yet? It's okay, hands up. You're all gonna get stuff too, don't worry. Thank you for being here. So very briefly, our mission is to add a Waze rider to every Waze driver, and we have 100 million monthly active users around the world. So this is a big feat. And we're starting with Israel, where we've had Carpool live for over a couple years. And then, and now we are live in California, Texas, and Washington. And we have big dreams. We're gonna go broad from there. So this is only the beginning. Oh, well, this animation's working. Sometimes it doesn't work. What's that? No, that's worldwide. Yeah. So Waze Carpool connects drivers and riders with similar destinations to commute together on the most optimal routes. Okay, mission statement right there. What makes us unique? Well, we think three things. One, the reach that I talked about, the 100 million monthly actives around the world, is something that you can't replicate anywhere else. So if you're trying to build a carpool service, you need supply and you need demand. And we have the supply, we have the drivers. We need the riders. We need people to know that this is a great service for them that can meet their needs and can consistently get them to work on time and get them home on time. The data, Waze is part of Google. Google and Waze have the best geodata on the planet. I don't really need to say anything more about that. It's a truth. It's real news, not fake news. And finally, the brand. Waze has been around we're celebrating 10 years this year. So this is our 10th anniversary. Thank you, yes. I just wanted them all to see that you're really clapping. It's not a clap track. Okay. Thank you, guys. Oh, I'm shameless. Okay, and so the brand is powerful. It's been around a long time. It inspires a lot of love and a lot of passion and a lot of discussion. And you'll see that we need that global love of Waze to translate into the local level for Carpool. So it's really about getting that same passion for this navigation app that's been around for 10 years and translating it into the local level. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So just to be clear for the new guys in the room that haven't seen us or heard from me before, Waze isn't taxis or rideshare. We did get some questions in the registration, like, why aren't I getting paid like an Uber driver? I'm not seeing, 4 or 5 times what I would be getting if I was driving for Uber. Waze is regular people, not professional drivers. We have a limit of 54 cents a mile that is set by the IRS, which is the reimbursement limit for driving expenses. So we can't pay you more than 54, or the riders can't pay you more than 54 cents a mile. Otherwise, it becomes a for-profit carpool or a for-profit taxi or whatever you want to call it, and it's taxable income, and it triggers a lot of things that we don't want you guys to have to deal with. So this is reimbursement for gas money. In Waze Carpool, you get to know your co-pilot. We give you a ton of tools to vet who you're riding with. It's not like when a rideshare shows up and you see that little image on your app and then they show up and you're getting in and you don't have a choice. You always have a choice with Waze Carpool. And in fact, with our new carpool service, you have even more of a choice to pick people that you want to carpool with, as long as you can find them in the app if you've been riding with them before. I know that. We'll get to that. This is making the most of drives happening anyway. So we are not adding cars to the road. I know there's a lot of news about, Uber and Lyft, they're taking cars off the road, but there's surveys on the other side that say, no, they're actually adding congestion to the roads. With Waze Carpool, we are committed to making sure that these are drives that are supposed to happen anyway. That's why we've started with the commute use case, and we're trying to match commuters who are traveling in the same direction. Sharing travel costs and not earning an income, I covered that already, and then scoring the front seat. So this last point is really about creating a culture, a carpool culture that you are comfortable with, that you guys help define. And hopefully, we hope you're inviting passengers into the front seat. And maybe a couple times a week, your passenger brings you a coffee, or you have their favorite mints, their Altoids in the front seat, something like that, something that provides a little bit of that, personalization, that feeling of a community that we're trying to build. And that's what Score the Front Seat is all about. Okay. I talked very fast. I tried to leave a lot of time for Rafa to come up and talk a little about product. So please welcome my friend Rafa Cohen.
Thank you, Josh. So I'm Rafa, I lead product for Carpool, and I'll be taking the hit tonight. I'll give you a few product updates and also talk about the motivation behind the latest updates in the app and in the service in general. And then we'll have time for questions.
Before you start, let's let the live stream this wave. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. That's Rafa. Okay, great.
All right. So first of all, those are features that we're planning for right now. They're under development, but I want to tell you that the real thing we're working about is fixing bugs. We're completely aware of the current situation. We know that we launched too early. It was intentional. We are embarrassed with the current quality of the product. That was intentional too. Yeah, we are. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and with the accent, it's terrible. I know. That's intentional too. It's supposed to be charming.
I've got a mic now, so I can translate if you guys can't. I'm just kidding, buddy.
That's how we talk all the time. That's our relationship.
It's all love.
All right. So we're mainly working on fixing bugs, creating an experience that kind of makes sense, which is not the case today. We're aware of it. You have to actually want really, really bad to carpool in order for make it happen. It will be better. That's not difficult. There's a low bar, and then we'll start working on adding the features that we all want to happen, and we want to.
Another unhappy carpooler.
Have the same at home. Very young carpool. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's probably a rider. Yeah. So let's start. We want to hear your feedback about it. I'll also talk a bit about the motivation, why we built those features and not other features. And of course, during the live sessions or afterwards, you're welcome to talk to me about your own feature requests. I'm happy to hear. So the first one is, we called it My Carpoolers. And the goal is to build for habits. And the goal is to kind of help the heroes that made it through onboarding and through their first carpool to help book more carpools and be more successful throughout their commute. So My Carpoolers is basically adding to the weekly view that you already know today, tray of people that you either added, that you either intentionally and actively signaled as favorites. It's like having your own favorites, or people that you have carpooled in the past. Okay, you'll see them in the in your recent riders tray on the upper part of the screen. You'll be able.
Yes, this is
coming features.
Yeah. We're trying to preempt a lot of questions with features that are in the
coming
pipe.
Up soon. And you'll be able to either chat with them, just to coordinate. In chat your next carpool or ask about more information, kind of a shortcut, or to offer rides throughout the whole week, which means that you'll be able to book a recurrent carpool for the whole week. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was expecting for this one. Thank you. So you're offering ride for 5 riders. That's I'll tell. So I absolutely agree. So the question was, yeah. So the question, I'm going to repeat the question. The question was, what does it help if the other side is not active? Why do I need that for? Like, I'm just going to get more rejections, and this is absolutely true. So the idea here is to intelligently put the people you've already carpooled with, who are by definitions active, not only active in a wide sense, but active in a sense that they want to carpool with you. They've demonstrated in the past because you have carpooled in the past together. So that's what we noticed in the behavior of people in carpool. Once you have met your 3, 4, 5 drivers, you always carpool with the same people. So you don't really need to get through the matching process, get into every time slot, find them in the list, and request a single ride from them. It's just, you want to get to those 4 or 5 people, and you say, guys, who's driving tomorrow? Something like that. This is the experience we're trying to create. And the end goal, of course, is sending you one push notification at the beginning of the week with your whole schedule, who's driving the whole week for your carpool. But this is like the first step in that direction. And of course, the people that you'll see, the users that you'll see in this UI, are by definition active users who are relevant to you. Okay. And then all the offers are sent for the whole week. You see the weekly view is filled with offers sent to the person you've selected. So that's the first feature request. So it's aimed at making already successful people succeed more. The second one we know is a very strong feature request is multiple passengers. What we will be releasing really, really soon is the ability for riders to join existing carpools. Like if a carpool is arranged, a rider will be able to see this carpool in the list and be able to request to join it, and the driver will be able to accept. But the other thing that we will add, and that's something that was missing in Carpool 1.0, is the ability for the driver also to send an offer to join the ride. Like after having a carpool with a rider, they will be able to fill their seats by choosing from the list of people on the bottom how to fill the car with a second passenger. And then the second passenger will be waiting for a reply, and after they've accepted, then the multipacks the multipacks carpool is arranged. So it can come through two flows. Either the rider joins an existing carpool, or the driver actively adds a second passenger to the carpool. Yes. Yes, it does.
The question is, does it change the amount of money that the driver gets?
Well done, Josh. Well done. Yeah, it does. So as you know, we're capped with the legal limit of 54 cents a mile. So assuming we are below the cap, it just doubles the money. Okay, 3 passenger, 3x, 4 passenger, 4x, always capped with the limits of the 54 cents a mile. No, it's for the whole ride. Okay, so that's the second. By the way, I didn't hear applause for that.
Well,
thank you.
Tepid applause.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
And the third one is, I think, what you intended. So one of the big problems we're seeing in Carpool 2.0, although it's a huge improvement compared to 1.0 in that aspect, is to get an idea of the level of activity of the person you're sending a request to. So one of the things we're doing in order to improve this is add a last seen indication in the list. So when you send offers, you will be first of all seeing that you have sent 3 offers and how many of them have been seen by the other side. So you get an idea of what's going on. Like, should you be expecting an answer? Should you be writing them a message? Like what's going on? And you can also see when those offers have been seen.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, thank you. Close. Thank you.
Yeah.
The fourth feature is integration with Spotify, and it's around a new theme that we want to add to Carpool. At the end of the day, what we want to do is to create an experience that's better than driving alone. Like we want to be in a situation in 5 years when people think of driving alone and say, why would I do that? Like that's stupid. Like carpooling is so much better. And Carpool 2.0 is about carpooling with people you feel a connection with. It's clearly a social experience, and as a part of this insight, we want to create a better experience during the carpool itself. So the integration with.
Let me ask real quick: is anyone using the current Waze Spotify integration, where you can control Spotify through Waze?
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I have nothing to announce, but I recognize that there are many other music services out there, and I can say that I can't say anything. I'm just going to wink at you. Okay, good. I'm actually Google Play Music subscriber, so I've been pushing the team really hard on that.
So you're the 2 users, okay.
Yeah. Hey, live stream.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sundar, that was not me.
Yeah.
I'm a
Do you have a
proud
question?
Googler.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. What was the question?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So we want to bring this integration with Spotify that we think creates magical moments for our user, bring it to Carpool. The idea is that we have many ideas. I'll just present 2 of them. Is, for example, if your rider is called, if your rider's name is Caroline, then having like Sweet Caroline, that's Josh will
Unless Caroline is tired of hearing that song, then she will state so in her preferences and she will never hear it.
That's not when you sing.
Bum, bum, bum. Thank you.
That was awesome. Like they all want this feature now. And the second more significant feature is play mutual playlists. Like if you have Spotify and the rider has Spotify as well, then we could create a playlist that you both like and you could be listening to during the ride. And we think like it will make the whole ride much more enjoyable for both the driver and all the riders. I think that's it on the product side before the questions.
Okay, let me just quickly run through a few more slides. Thank you, Rafa. Okay, so before we dive into your questions, I just wanted to highlight a few things. One, this is from Seattle. We had a bunch of people in a balloon carpool. We want to hear from you guys. So if you've had a great experience with carpool, if you've met somebody that's now become a real friend, if you're dating somebody that you met in a carpool, if you found a new job from a carpool, if you've met somebody from, a town growing up, a high school friend from you hadn't seen in many years, whatever your cool carpool story is, we want to feature you. So Orit, who many of you know who runs these events, will take down your information. Julie in the back of the room as well. You can talk to, hands up in the air. Both their hands are up in the air. Let us know about your great carpool stories. Follow us on social media. Many of you are already doing this, but here's a reminder. We have many accounts. We have a very thriving Waze Carpool user feedback community that trends towards the positive, but sometimes can give a lot of feedback as well. That was a joke. But we want you there, and we want you, liking things and telling us that you agree with others. The more people are there that are verifying, what others are saying, the better for us. We still have the Waze Carpool Sticker Challenge going, so you all got stickers on your chairs. Put them in places that are legal, and take a picture. To your children or to your pets is also okay. That's up to you. And then we have another webinar coming up on April 4th. We're trying to do these every 3 to 6 weeks, so this will be happening with more features coming down the pike. And the next two front seat tour events following this one, we're going to Austin. We haven't been to Texas yet. And then we'll be up in Seattle in May. If any of you happen to be in the area, of course, you can join us. But we'll be back here after those two events. And then I also wanted to say, if you didn't see the table out front, Patrick, who leads our user research team, is back there. And Emily, if you want to be a part of user research and get paid, sign up. You have to sign a few consent forms and other things like that. But then Patrick can get you hooked up with our user research, our formal user research program. Okay, I think that is it for my announcements. Thank you. Now, on to your questions. So we've compiled the list of questions that you sent us ahead of time, and we took a few big themes out of them, and we were going to answer those first, and then we will get to all of your questions. So let's keep these answers to 45 seconds or less. Rafa, go. Why did you make the new Waze
45
carpool?
seconds?
45 seconds or less.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the previous version didn't work for most people, and because most of the people who did want to carpool, when so that the matching process is blind, meaning that they request a ride not from a person but from a system, and then an unknown person kind of lands on them. It is intimidating for most people. So if we want to become a mainstream service, we had to change that, give the control back in the hand of the users, build around trust, and build around the insight that carpool at the end of the day is a social experience. It's as opposed to ride sharing.
Pretty good. We'll come back to that. Okay, next question we gathered from your questions in advance. How is the price calculated? And we answered this a little bit up top. The 54 cents a mile is our maximum. But a lot of people, we've heard from a lot of people that I'm not actually getting 54 cents a mile. How is my price calculated?
So it is based on distance. For short distances, we are at the, like if your ride is 1 or 2 miles long, it will be calculated according to 54 cents per mile. For longer distances, we have a digressive model, but it's pretty much based on distance and capped with $15
yeah.
In total. In the future, we'll add more inputs to the pricing model, like parking or like tolls, stuff like that. But that's not for now.
And in terms of subsidies, we are working with local authorities and different companies and trying to roll out as many subsidy programs as we can around the Bay Area and everywhere we are live, actually. So that helps prop up the price as well. Next question we had, how do I know if the person has already accepted another offer? Rafa?
They're not supposed to be on your list if they did. And in case they do, send us feedback.
Yes. So if you see people in your list, assume that they have not already accepted another offer, unless we've made an egregious error.
Yeah.
Was there a question related to that? Yes. Do you have received multiple ride requests after you've accepted a ride that's booked a ride? Okay. So that's a bug. Yeah.
It's very possible that we have a bug. Like,
Yes, another question on this.
I'm sorry, yeah. Question on this, and I'm sorry I've not. Just another follow-up question on that, and I'm sorry I've not like used the service. I've looked at the interface many times, but I've not like actually been matched once for a ride. So from what I see here, it's like you get matched with one person and that's it. Is that correct? Am I understanding this right?
Before we rolled out the new version of Carpool, I don't know if you saw the previous versions of Carpool, we had multiple passengers available. So you could have a multi-packs carpool. When we went to this new version, we simplified things a little bit, but multiple passengers is coming back shortly.
Okay, yeah, because you do need that for certain commutes,
Yeah, the
especially the
HOV3,
ones that
right.
involve San Francisco, because without a carpool,
Yes.
it's just really not worth it because then you can't.
I know, the Bay Bridge and many other requirements.
That's exactly what I
3+.
mean, yeah.
So you're coming over the Bay Bridge?
I do, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
so that's a great question, actually. And that's one of the motivations. Why we wanted also the driver to initiate a multiple passenger ride is that because we understand that for some drivers, it's not about the money, it's not about the social experience,
It's
it's about
about the
anything
carpooling.
but saving time. They just want to save time. So they need two people in the ride. So they need to add as many people to fill their car.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we're good. We're good. Yes, agree. We agree with you that it saves even more money if you're crossing the bridge. We're aware. Okay. Yes. 2 or more passengers. Yes. 3+ carpool. Yes. On its way. Okay. Now it's your turn. Yes. Okay. Let's go right there. Yes. And we'll hit you guys next.
I haven't used but I often find myself going to places like ski resorts and long drives. Is that any way that would be a feature to like that happening?
For both like sort of weekend travel and event-based travel, I'm going to a concert, I'm going to a sporting event. Those are things that you can actually use the app for today. There's no limitation on that. You can use it on the weekends. You can try to request a ride on a Friday afternoon up to Tahoe. But we are focused on the commute use case first. So that is the drive you do the most, up to 10 times a week or more if you're going to multiple locations. And as we add density to the service, I think that those kinds of weekend use cases and event-based use cases will become easier.
Yeah. I just want to add that said, we were really surprised with the new service that actually we see, I think 5 or 6 times more people than with the previous version taking those rides during the weekend. So it's starting to work, and we were surprised at that because we didn't build, like as just said, we built really around the commute use case, but we're seeing people doing that, and they're being really successful. So we're pleasantly surprised.
So when you're asking your question, can you stand up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is there a plan to implement guaranteed ride back program? So let's say if I travel to work in the morning, what if I don't get a ride back? Then
Yes.
I end up taking Uber, something like that.
That's a great question. So we launched 2 years ago with a guaranteed ride home program that we were experimenting with, and the data from that was that it was something that people like to know existed but barely ever used. The other thing that we learned is that counties and many employers have guaranteed ride home programs. So if you take an alternative transit method to work and you get stuck, your employer or the county will pay for you and your taxi ride home. So right now, what can we say? Yes, we're working on. Yes. So right now, I just want to say you are served by some existing services depending on where you live or work, but we are looking at it again.
Whatever you'll ask, I'll say it's in the roadmap, but this is really in the roadmap.
No, go ahead. Yes. sir.
So how many maximum seats we can book? Like for example, if somebody is a Honda Odyssey or a 7-seater, so can we book 6 or what is the maximum today?
So it's in the roadmap. And
Okay.
no, just kidding. The default is 4 passengers, but you can get into the settings and add more seats, up to 6.
Okay,
Right? Yeah, up to 6.
thank you.
Up to 4.
4.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's the default. Yeah. It's also the maximum. You can't? No. Okay, it's around in the roadmap.
It's on the roadmap.
Yeah.
No. So let's only use it's on the roadmap if it's really on the roadmap. Okay.
Okay.
Why two different apps for rider and driver?
So
Can't
that's an amazing question. Like, we're discussing this probably 20 times a week. We've been discussing this 20 times a week in the last 2 years. The reason is that for now the riders and the drivers are different personas. We have very few users who are both riders and drivers, and the riders are not interested in the navigation part of the Waze app. But I think it's safe to assume that that will change in the very near future.
You can see with the new version that we just released that the rider and driver services look very, very similar.
Yeah,
so I think that's our first step in unifying that experience.
Absolutely. Like it's the first step. The second step will be like we will have also a period of time during which we'll have still have two apps, but you won't need two apps. You'll be able to be a driver or rider just with Waze, and then probably we'll unify the two apps.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I have a concern about the pickup points. So it gives intersections even if the rider selects 1 minute, less than 1 minute walk. And a week ago, it so happened that as a driver in my app, it showed one intersection. For the rider, it showed an entirely different intersection, that too at a very busy crossroad, which is the Caribbean and Crossman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's impossible for any driver to actually stop at such an intersection and give ride to somebody. And especially if it's so far away, if it's raining or if it's snowing or if it's whatever is the weather situation, it can only make it very difficult for the rider. So are there any plans to address this?
Yeah. So first of all, if you realize that during before the ride, it's not very discoverable, but you are actually able to change and edit the pickup point. Okay, so that's something that you can do. But sometimes the problem is that you don't realize that the pickup is problematic until you are at the pickup. And in that case, it doesn't really help you. So what we will do very soon is to add the capability in the in-app messaging that we have in the app to edit the pickup. So you can do it after the ride is confirmed. And the third layer of handling of this issue is that we have a very vibrant community of map editors at Waze, and we are going to ask them to whitelist and blacklist pickup points from the map, so they can take out dangerous pickup. So we just don't consider them as candidates for pickup points.
And if you would like to be a part of that effort, that'll be available as well.
Yep.
Yes, over here.
Yeah. So I close to a park and ride location, and when I'm picking up multiple people, I waste a lot of time in the morning going to different locations picking up people. I feel like a taxi. So is it possible to tell my riders to come to the park and ride?
Yeah,
they're willing to come, but the concern is Waze may not recognize and may not give us credit for the ride.
So even when we were doing multiple passengers in the first version, it was a single pickup point location. So multiple passengers coming to one pickup spot. And I believe that would be the case when multiple passengers comes back. So that would fit your use case.
Iteration. Yeah.
Yes.
We're very mindful in general of the experience. Like, there are things that we can do that would be more efficient in terms of pure routing. Like, if you were an Uber driver, that would be more efficient because you would optimize every mile of your ride, et cetera, et cetera. But we understand that carpooling is not ride sharing, and we are very mindful of the experience, the stress it creates for the driver who just wants comfortable rides, and they're not like counting every dollar. They're more about having a convenient commute. We're very mindful of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm a driver myself. I want to share, first of all, one feeling. I don't want to give rides to people who are not commuters. I don't want to be like a taxi driver.
Agreed.
Okay, so so one comment is that I'm hoping that you can design the algorithm so that the commute is not like dragged out. I used to pick up maybe multiple passengers, and the route is such that I have to get off at a freeway, drop off somebody, and get back onto the freeway and drop out another person. So I guess most congestions happen around the on-ramp. So I don't want to get off
Right.
a exit and then come back.
So it's that your ideal carpool is one that starts close to your home and ends very close to your work.
Well, I mean, I usually pick up people from bar station, and then I would
Okay.
basically drop off people on my way home, and then 80. If you get off at Montauk, and then you have to get back on, it takes forever,
Mhm.
right? It's bad for the driver and also bad for the passenger.
So
the next passenger.
We're hopeful that our new version gives you the ability to customize exactly the type of carpool that you want by highlighting exactly the detours that you would be taking.
Right.
But
close to home or
more
close to work.
fundamentally, like we gave you the control over the experience as a driver. Like in Carpool 1.0, you would get a request, and we know that for drivers it was a bit stressful because they said, okay, that's my only ride request. It kind of sucks, but if I'm not taking this, I don't know if there'll be another ride request coming up. And now you can actually look at the list, see what makes sense from your perspective, and what makes sense for you is not necessarily what makes sense for other drivers. So it's very personal. You will be able to offer rides that make sense to you, and we will learn with time that those are your preferences and show more rides such as this ride to you because we understand you more.
Okay. And one last suggestion, maybe a bit experience. I have a rider who so I got a request for ride, and then the person who showed up was a family member of that person, of the account holder. So I was not happy because I don't really know who that person is.
Yeah.
So the excuse was that that person like usually she doesn't get a good match, or maybe I think for whatever reason she feels safer if it's a male person was requesting a ride, and then that person is a female, right? So
Yeah.
so I'm wondering if you can do something about that.
I mean, we've definitely added the ability to sort your list by gender so that you can ride with who you're comfortable with, and more of those filters will be coming. But in that particular case, if somebody's using the service in such a way that whoever shows up isn't who they represent in the app, let us know about that. That's not how we want people to use the app. Yes, sir.
Hi. Two questions actually regarding two concerns.
Closer.
One concern is I live like in West San Jose, and I commute to Sunnyvale. However, the app always show like sometimes people close to downtown San Jose, which would take me farther from my route. Then I will get back from different route. And even the drop-off location is farther than north and farther than where I work. The other concern is something similar to what the gentleman mentioned before. At least 2 times, the rider gave me like a show in the app intersection location to pick them up. Well, when I asked them later, after 15 minutes, like going around and find them for exactly after we text and call, they said, actually, we entered the exact address. We don't know why it shows intersection.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for your patience and for being committed to the carpool. But yeah, I mean, those are circumstances that we absolutely want you to contact us about, because that is either something that's buggy or something that's not working correctly. Yeah, do you want to answer that?
To your first, so the second question is, it sounds to me like a bug. It's not working as intended. It's not supposed to happen. We will also add in the in-app messaging the ability to share your current location as a rider. So you can just, instead of having to explain it to your driver, you can just send them like you do in WhatsApp, for example, or in other messaging services. And as to your first question, well, if this is all there is in your list, like you have to go back downtown, and so apparently this is a supply, right? This is the riders that you have. You would never get an offer from them, a request from them to pick them up with a detour. They would join you, but you see like the supply of rider that is available. The alternative would be showing you nothing. So it really depends. You don't have to offer them anything. To some people, it will make sense. To others, it won't. And if it doesn't to you, then just not offer.
But in that case, if you're not seeing folks that are great matches for you, we very much encourage you to refer your friends and coworkers. We have I'm serious. We have a very generous referral program right now. So it's $30 for drivers and free rides for riders. And you can get many free rides.
Cash money.
And many $30 bonuses. So please refer your friends in that circumstance.
Josh and I refer each other all the time.
No. Where's the mic? I don't even see the mic. Over there?
Hello. Here.
Yes. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
And then we'll head back there.
Yeah. Do you have any plan for multi-stop?
Can you use closer?
Do you have any plan for multi-stop? Like for example, use case dropping the kid to school.
Yeah.
Yes. Multi-stop, dropping school.
Yep, definitely we do. But as I said before, we don't want like to allow any making multiple stops, multiple pickups in your neighborhoods and multiple drop-off close to work makes sense in terms of experience. But like if you have multiple pickup and drop-off along the route, then you kind of feel like a taxi driver, and it's not an experience that we want to create. So it will depend. Yes.
Okay, where are we? Right there.
So
Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
three questions. First question is, before the update.
I'm only going to answer one.
So
ahead.
before the update, let's say I'm driving from Santa Clara to Dublin. When I'm at Fremont, Waze reroutes me to everywhere in Fremont. Thanks to Waze, I've known a lot of places in Fremont, which I didn't know before. I have
the
never
magic
been to
of Waze.
Washington Boulevard and Grimmer Boulevard in my life.
Yes.
I've been in the Bay Area for like 10 years, so thanks to Waze.
So Fremont is a carpool hotbed. I don't know if you realize that, but there's a lot of carpooling coming out of Fremont.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know. So the question is, before the update to this new version of the app, I would get a pop-up saying that, hey, you're in Fremont, so there's somebody requesting a ride. I don't get that anymore. Is that a bug or is it stopped?
It has stopped. And I'm happy that you were the user who would get those notifications. They hardly happened. It was a great feature and people loved it. But that was assuming two things. One, that you were already a carpool user. Like if it lands on you like out of the blue and you've never heard of carpool, it's like pick up someone like, oh wow, what's happening? I just want to drive to work. And two, it has you have to get the right routing and the right timing. So the chances of this happening are very, very low. This is like the dream flow. We want to get there. Like don't have to plan. Like you can like
on the fly.
Exactly,
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
fly, real time, etc. But in order to get there, we need to build the density of drivers and riders who are aware of what is carpool, who have done this multiple times, and then it kind of makes sense when it happens. We will bring it back, but not immediately.
Okay. My second question was,
Yes.
sorry. So when I'm alone, when I don't have a ride, so sometimes Waze tells me to take the express lane, which I don't want to. Is there an intelligent way of Waze telling me to reroute without taking the express lane, even if I don't have a ride? I would love that actually. I don't know why it tells me to take an express lane even when I don't have a ride.
Express lane, you mean the carpool lane?
Yeah, the express from Dublin, let's say on
Yes.
southbound.
Yes. It's a
You have to
Oh,
pay for it.
those are HOT lanes where you're paying extra.
Yeah, you have to pay for it. So
Yeah.
when I'm riding by myself, I would like Waze to reroute me to a different
Yeah, so-
route rather than telling me to take the express lane. It'll be good if you can do it real
So
time.
it's now available. Like the HOV feature and HOV HOT feature is now available in Waze.
Right, but if I'm riding alone by myself, I don't want to use the express lane. Right, so I want Waze to not tell me that and reroute it.
Oh yeah, totally get it. Yeah, of course. So this is one of like the most of the most compelling value proposition that there are in carpool,
And then my third question is, you guys have a launch promo that you're giving right now. When will that stop?
If I told you,
It's not stopping, then that's good.
it's
not stopping
yeah,
right
no, it's not stopping right now. Thank you.
we give more money to drivers.
a little bit
than
more
what,
money for drivers.
riders have to pay.
Yeah.
Question
Yes,
over
sir.
here. I'm a rider and I got the new version of the app and it was cool. And I saw a lot of people that joined in February but gave no rides. And I wanted to go to San Francisco. I added 5 different people, most of whom didn't give any rides and didn't get much of a response. So I don't know what happened, but it feels like there's certain people that got signed up for carpool that are not really interested in carpool.
Absolutely.
So I think you guys might want to look at that and figure out, maybe those people are just not the right people.
Absolutely, we are. Like
You're aware
one
of
the
that,
things
right?
We are aware of that, and that's one of the things, like probably the most critical problems that we have to solve now. Make sure that we filter out people who have signed up but are not really active and do not really intend to carpool.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm one of the 400 ride drivers.
Sweatshirt, come on up.
And here's one of my passengers.
Yeah.
Woo! Now the weird thing. Well, I'm taking them home. The weird thing is that since the new app came out, I've made as many as 10 offers in the morning. 0 response. I have not had a single response except one guy said, "I don't want to ride." But that was my only response.
Hmm.
But these guys will text me and say, hey, I need a ride.
Right.
So we do something on the side there.
Yeah, so I think the first set of features that Rafa presented, My Carpoolers, is going to address that directly.
Okay, the other thing is he actually made a request for tomorrow, but when he put his real pickup address in there, he didn't see me as a driver. He faked an address that was closer to the freeway, and then all of a sudden I showed up.
That's a successful hack.
It's very possible that we have a bug.
Yeah. Talk to one of us. If you can stay for a few moments after, we'll get your information and look into it. Yes, sir.
Hi. What going to do with the last minute cancellations?
Say that again?
The last minute cancellations that happen. So
Are you a driver or a rider?
Driver.
So as a driver, handling last minute cancellations.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
You're already
So-
en route and the person suddenly cancels on you.
Yeah, tough problem.
30%.
At the last moment? Wow.
Okay, so just with the folks who are left, show of hands, cancellations, who is that a problem for? Honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, because
No,
this is important feedback.
We see this in the data. We see this in the data. We have to handle this. We have a few options in order to do it, and we need to get to it either by making the rider pay a small fee, or by compensating you for your.
Yes. Right. Like a cancellation with consent.
I think it's a fantastic idea. No, really.
No, it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. Write that down near.
You
Where are
should present it to.
Where'd he
Uber,
go?
by the way.
He's
And-
back there. We're
Last-
taking notes on all this, by the way. All these suggestions are getting taken down.
Okay.
Yes.
Lastly, how is Google making money out of
Well, so there is still advertising within Waze. I don't know if you've noticed. We have the 0 speed takeovers, or the little billboards at the top of the screen, as well as the pins on the map. So we're lucky in that we are a good money making business as an advertising business within Google. So we don't need to charge for Carpool at this point, and we will continue to not charge for Carpool for the foreseeable future until we feel that the quality of service warrants it. Clearly, we are not there. So
yeah,
it will continue to be feeless for the foreseeable future. Over here, yes.
So I recently did the driver app, and I was wondering, how does setting your price thingy work in the offer? So if I set a higher offer than your suggested price, like I was wondering that, will I lose the ride, or will I get the ride,
No,
or should
no,
I
no,
always, set the
you're-
suggested price? What should I do?
Naturally, the other side will be less likely to accept your offer. It will be less attractive to them, and that's it. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense. Like sometimes as a rider, you really, really need to get somewhere. You don't have an alternative, and you say like the recommended price. I would be willing to pay more. I want just to be successful and to find a driver. That's totally okay. And sometimes they have plenty of alternatives. And I would carpool, but not for $4, for $2. If the other side is okay, I'll do it. If not, I'll take the bus. Perfectly fine. Yeah. So the rider. Yeah. So the rider will get an offer for. They are used to have carpool for $2, and they get an offer for $4 because it comes free, and you increase the price. And if it makes sense for them and they don't have an alternative, they say, okay, it's more expensive than usual, but I'll still take it. And if not, and they have other offer for $2, you'll probably lose this rider.
But it's their choice. Now it's their choice.
Only if they have alternatives. That's the key point.
Correct. Yeah, I will say when we launched the what we call the Carpool Angel feature, so the ability to offer a free ride, a really impressive number of you take advantage of that feature. So give yourselves a pat on the back. A lot of people are offering free rides. I really appreciate. Yeah, a round of applause. And that is still available in the new Carpool. So you can drag your slider all the way to 0 and offer free rides, and I guarantee you're going to get riders. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. I'll ask a business question and a UI question. But I had super carpoolers, Daphne and Oz, last night, to
Oh,
the
you had some
city,
Wazers.
and we ran into every interesting bug I think you have, and I think they've already talked to their people about that. But my business question was this: how many developers and members of management pre-run this application before launch? What have you learned from that? What are you going
Yeah.
to change in the future?
I have to go.
I
You
mean
have to
that. I
go?
mean that in a positive sense.
Yeah.
And
No,
number
that's a fair
two, the 0 mile per hour ads. If my next turn is within a quarter mile, I need to see what I need to do to make choices in traffic. And so every now and then the ad becomes distracting to what I need to be doing after a light, making a turn.
Yeah, you should
et
only.
cetera.
Well, I'll answer the second one first. You should only see those if you're at a stoplight or fully stopped for 4 seconds.
Yes, but if let's say I'm waiting to turn left. If I have to turn left and I have to cross 3 lanes of traffic up in a quarter mile, I may need to want to see that. Kind of like, what do I have to do next?
Quick
But
question.
I can't see that
Since
until
I'm
I
a
start
business
rolling.
guy, would you pay for a Waze subscription where you didn't have to see ads?
Maybe, but all I'm asking is if I have to make a decision in the near time.
Yeah.
While I'm stopped.
No, I hear you. It's very
Yes,
valid.
It's very much like saying, okay, exit the highway here. Now within a 10th of a mile, cross 4 lanes and turn left.
Yeah, I hear you.
A lot of that. It's the same type of opportunistic, would you rather serve an ad or help someone get there?
Yeah.
Just within that narrow spatial.
I will
period
let
of
the
time.
ads team know for sure. To your first question, we did extensive testing on this new service on a decent sized group of users in Israel. We tested, most of Waze employees are in Israel. So we tested there. We tested with a small group of us here in Mountain View. And
it's not enough.
And it's not
Clearly.
enough.
Clearly, we are not doing a job that is good enough in terms of QA, in terms of testing the app and the service. We are discovering plenty of bugs after we're in production and with our users, and we'll improve with time. And now we are really going to focus on that in the near term.
I think the one thing I've learned over time in a similar world is if you want to find a problem with an application or a process, don't give it to experts.
Yes. Well, listen. No. You're absolutely right. And I want to say, as I started off the presentation today, carpooling is a 100-year-old challenge, and you are all very passionate carpoolers. We can tell, but we are not yet mainstream, and we rely on your feedback to get it better and to get it right. And there's things that we discover that we can't discover with a couple hundred people that we can only discover if we release to, the masses that are using it. But it's not quite masses yet. You are pioneers. You are on this journey with us. We appreciate you. That's why we do all of this, and we are listening. And so that's what I can say. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I just want to agree with 2 points that were made before. One is that the pickup locations sometimes are kind of weird, and quite often they're entirely different between what I as the driver get and what the rider gets. So if something can be done about that, it would be certainly great.
Absolutely.
And also, I completely agree with that mutual cancellation suggestion.
Yeah.
But I did have a case when somebody requests a ride, I accept. I drive to the location that's indicated originally. Then the person calls me as I'm driving there, says, well, can you meet me at the Caltrain station? I start driving there, and then he tells me, well, the train is late, so I don't know when I'll be there, so can we cancel it?
Yeah.
So, as I'm turning around and I'm trying to cancel a ride, and it asks me to type in the reason why it was canceled. And, when I'm driving, I'd much rather just have it.
Yeah, it's too much when you're driving. You need that big button. I agree.
But my other thing is that, well, maybe it's just me from what I've been hearing so far, but with the old version of the app, I was making quite a few carpools. With the new one, I haven't had a single one yet, and maybe it's just my use case.
No, it's not just you.
Yeah.
There are many people here feeling the same.
I want to be able to just open the app when I know that I will be leaving in 5-10 minutes. See the people who are actually available right now, not in the big time window that I have specified when I'm normally will be driving sometime in that period, and just see some limited number of people who need a ride right now.
Yeah,
Right
we
now I just have a huge list, and most of those people are already.
we
driving
realize
somewhere.
that's a use case for most people, and this is definitely coming up.
Thank you. Yes.
A couple of things. I just opened up the Carpool app, and it's telling me I would have to walk half an hour basically to get my drop-off spot and my pickup spot.
Okay.
So
From this event?
not from this event, from my home.
Oh, okay. Where do you live?
East San Jose.
Okay.
So there's a guy that's like 7-minute drive from me, but it would take me 23 minutes to walk to apparently.
Mhm.
So that's I don't know. That's one thing. Another thing, I guess it kind of relates to Waze. It's supposed to learn which way I go normally.
Yeah.
So it would recommend that. It has me always going on 101. I work right off of 280 and 92. And obviously 101s is usually a parking lot, so I try to avoid it. But all the hits that I get are typically off of 101.
Carpool hits, you mean?
Yeah, when I'm driving.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's a bug or just an algorithm issue.
So you're saying you'd rather drive on 280, but
yeah.
but you're only getting carpool matches on 101.
Right.
So I want to refer to your first question first. So as your first question, if this is the supply that you have and you have to walk 23 minutes, then you need to invite people, the riders that live like, more close to you. To some people, it makes a lot of sense. Like we try to rank those offers by walking distance, basically, like the closest being first in the list. If there are no such offers, then the first offers that you'll see with a very long walk. I want to emphasize that when we say 30 minutes walk, we don't necessarily intend you that you will walk there. But some people bike to the pickup point, some of them take a bus, some of them take a Lyft. And to some people, taking a Lyft or Uber in San Francisco for $4 to get to the pickup, and after having to go to Mountain View for $7 instead of taking a Lyft all the way to Mountain View, it makes a lot of sense. So we don't necessarily intend for you to walk the 30 minutes, but this is the best offer there is currently. So up to you if this is your only option or not.
We need to increase density near you.
And to your second remark, it's a very good remark, and this is something that we know we have this information. We just don't use it in Carpool yet, and we will improve the algorithm to incorporate such things. Yeah. Yeah, but if he drives through 280 anyway, so we need to incorporate that.
Is there a reason why, I guess, it doesn't seem like I can drop off at my location, at my workplace or at my home?
Have you carpooled with people to your workplace?
I have not.
So let's get some more of them in the app.
Yeah. Okay. And then one last one.
Sure.
Actually, I guess that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, we are past 7, so if you do need to go, please, and you haven't grabbed a t-shirt, please do, but we will continue to answer questions for as long as you guys want. Yes.
Hey, so quick question, I guess, that requires a yes or no answer, just to follow up from what was asked in the beginning is, I don't know, I know this is not your business objective, but let's say on the long weekend trips, and you mentioned the cap of $15. So let's say if I'm going to Tahoe and I'm picking up someone, the max I will be able to get is $15.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Thank
Correct.
you. Then another is suggestion.
Per passenger. But let me just say that there is a reason for that.
I understand.
And the reason is that we don't want you to have to pay taxes.
I get
Okay.
additional forms and all that. Yeah,
Yes.
I clearly get it. And then another one is a suggestion. Since many people are not replying to offers, or sometimes even I am a driver, I'm texting people, hey, do you need a ride? It's like, oh no, actually I own a car, so I don't need a ride. So it would be great to have, to click on this triple dot and either hide them or snooze them so they don't appear in your search results until they change the address or something
Absolutely.
changes.
That's a great suggestion.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we
need
can keep taking questions live. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Okay, we're gonna take. If you haven't asked a question yet, and you have one, we're gonna take 2 more. Okay, right there, and Steve. Yeah, cool. Start there. No, the live stream. The internet is watching. Careful what you say.
Lord have mercy. Okay, about the cancellation fees, you said that you would place upon the drivers.
No, we didn't say we would. It's something we're
it's
looking
up
at.
there maybe
And
in-
if you all feel that that's appropriate, it's something we would take action on.
It may be, but I did it once to my buddy here, but it was because I had an important, in other words, an emergency, shall we say.
Right.
So if you ever have like a mutual cancellation, there should also be a space where you kind of give the reason. I mean, I
Sure.
would tell her the truth. And that's my
That you can
point.
already do today.
I'm sorry?
When you cancel today, you can already give a reason.
There is a form you can fill out when you're canceling. Yeah, but I don't think a mutual cancellation should incur a fee if you're both Yeah.
Right. In order to explain why it should be a mutual cancellation.
Of course.
you
Yes.
Explain to me.
We'll have a.
Makes sense.
Plus, I'm a preschool teacher. Sometimes my children get picked
Yeah.
up really late, so I'd like to be not punished for that.
Yeah.
even
Well, the
though it-
parents that are picking up
Makes sense.
the kids late
Yes,
should be
I would
punished.
love to punish
Like
them.
$1 a minute or something like that, right?
Right?
Okay.
Thank
can
you.
Well, I said, Steve, can we answer your question afterwards? Okay. Give me this. Here, Steve. Right here, Steve.
Josh, thanks.
Yes.
I'm a longtime driver, and I notice in terms of passengers, many times I'll see the same people over and over again. They never accept, and quite frankly, you see that they have no rides or just one ride, but they keep on coming up over and over again. Is there some consideration to some algorithm to say, if they appear 10 times, accepted no rides, that they potentially drop off?
Absolutely, Steve. This is like the most acute problem we're trying to solve now. We're trying to solve something around having like an acceptance rate for each rider, and the lower it is, the lower your rank will be in the list. That's what
Outstanding.
we're
I look
looking at.
forward to not seeing those people again.
Us too.
Okay. Thank you all. Those of us in the front seat tour shirts will be around for questions. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Oh yes, and sweatshirt winners, come up, please. For Waze ads?
Yeah. So why don't we actually don't? Well, I mean, Google.
Yeah, I mean the Waze ads team knows.
But they must also. I mean, this is good. So they know exactly what you want. Why don't you offset that with
That's what they're doing now. We are doing that now. Yeah. And the reason we are not charging a fee is because we are for carpoolers.
Yeah. So you offset that against the cost.
Only during the carpool trip.
During the carpool experience.
Or effectively making
Yeah.
Like when you asked if somebody would pay, I'm the one that frowny faces every post you put on
That's
Facebook.
okay.
I do it every time.
So, thank you for being here.
Right. I was gonna come to the other one and work got tied up or whatever. So